Hey, and welcome back again to the Ivory Tower Collections. The video today will be a freehand video, meaning I don't have the camcorder on a tripod, so I will apologize ahead of time for any shakiness that might occur. So I wanted to show you guys something here. This will probably be a multi-part series. Not much, probably like maybe 2 or 3 parts. This is obviously going to be part 1. But we are in the process here at the tower of upgrading the audio-video system that we use for all of the game consoles that are connected up here for the different reviews and things that I've done. And just to rehash and kind of show you what we've always used here before is, first of all, the primary ingredient for all of the classic systems and a large portion of the systems that I have in the collection that are always up and connected is the use of my JVC S700 here. This is a multi-AV selector, but and it's a very, very good one. I love this thing, to be honest. I've had it for about 7 years, but it's really only designed for just composite and S-video input connections. But even with just that, it still produces an amazing picture, and I even have the remote and everything for it as well. But so most of the classic systems are plugged into that, but I also have other things as well, like I've got my Saturn connected up off of this, other systems. So all of the systems connected in my JVC switcher, which then in turn goes into this, I don't know, this little cheapy little S-video and composite to HDMI up converter, scaler, converter, whichever, and then eventually back into my receiver here, which eventually makes it out to the TV, of course. But lately we've gotten a hold of some new equipment for very good prices, and thought I would show you what we're in the process of doing. So the first key element to all of this is this thing right here. This is an Extron 7SC, and basically it's just a multi-video audio selector box, but this is like a professional grade type selector. But the cool thing about this is, aside from all the really cool buttons, and we all like fun buttons on the front, is the back. All of the connections on the back are BNC connections. Now, basically, BNC is used in a number of different things, not just in audio video, but also in original old networks of what we called thin net, coax Ethernet used BNC connections. But basically, these are connections just like anything else where you have composite S-video, things like that, but they tend to break the signals out more intricately than just having things combined. But the cool thing about this particular selector box is that each one of the inputs on the back, every single one of them, I can put in either a composite or S-video, or I can put in VGA, or I can put in RGB, or I can put in component. Through any number of different connection points I have here, this selector box can automatically know what I have connected and then output it back to the TV. And let's talk about the output, because the output on this is another reason why I wanted this thing. And I'm not sure how well it'll show up on my camera, but I will try. That's a little better. So all of the inputs that are here, and it doesn't matter which I use, S-video, composite, component, what have you, they all end up coming out of this 15-pin VGA connector right here. So that's where the scaling comes in on this box. So it is also a scaler as well, but it's a very sophisticated scaler. As you can see, lots of electronics inside, specifically designed for this purpose. So I can take any of my input sources, put them out through the VGA connection, which is essentially RGB, and in turn, what will I connect that to? Well, the TV does not support VGA, but I do have a box that does. In addition to the Extron selector, I also recently picked up an OSSC for a very good price. And again, not sure how well it's going to show up because it's so bright. These displays are crazy bright. But the point with the OSSC, of course, for those that aren't familiar, is it stands for Open Source Scan Converter. And long story short, it basically allows me to use component input, the European SCART video input standard, as well as VGA input here. And then each one of these inputs has its own audio input line as well that I can use, and then it outputs whatever I put inside this box back out through VGA. The cool thing is that it does it without having to use any frame buffers, because it basically takes the incoming image and just doubles the amount of pixels on it to send it back out. So basically it'll take a lower resolution image, add double, triple, even up to as 5 times the amount of pixels, still keeping the image looking pixelized and all old school retro, while at the same time it's putting it out in a resolution that's natively supported by my TV, and hence it doesn't have to scale or look blurry or fuzzy. So that's the basic plan. Yeah, over the course of probably a week, I'm going to imagine, we're going to get all the old, I'm going to have to take most of these consoles out. We'll have to pull the whole cabinet away from the wall so that I can get to the audio video wiring in the back and power. And we're going to put this thing in its place. Now, you'll notice that it doesn't have a cover. That's because it's actually sitting over here right now. I got a couple parts on order. It does work just fine, but the fan on it, it's got a cooling fan, was rather noisy, so I've got a replacement fan to put into it. And a couple of the bulbs up front here were burned out. And yes, it just uses little standard tiny little T1 incandescent bulbs, but I ordered some replacements. So yeah, I'll be getting some other stuff in. Also, I have to get some adapters for the cables. I have the B&C to RCA adapters here, but I also need additional cables to break out the S-Video and some other stuff as well. So that's what I'll be doing over the course of things, and really looking forward to it. So I'll see you guys next time when there's more updates to give you.